And welcome to today's video. And I was doing live chats at a different time. I usually did them at the weekend, but then I thought, okay, maybe it makes more sense to do them the same time as I do the normal motorhome videos. And rather than do them at a sort of a different time. Now, I was hoping to do the motorhome chats on the front of the motorhome, and the reason I do it from the front of the motorhome is that you get this big panoramic view out of the front of the integrated vehicle. And when the weather is like it is now, or at least the nights are still it's still light outside, that seemed to me to be a very good thing, a bit like in a newsroom. So I'm sort of rabbiting on, and in the background you can see the people sort of milling around behind me. Anyway, it's today where I'm at. There's just been a storm. It was raining very hard outside. I think it stopped, but I was doing a live on the other channel, and the internet went. Now I've just bought a new 5G package, so the internet should be okay for the duration of this video. Now, last week I got a question, and the person who wrote the question says he wants a proper answer and not just one word. And so, in fact, I'm not going to give him one word. I'm going to tell him to see the video. The question's the following: is why is it when you buy a motorhome, it doesn't have a proper battery package inside? That is to say that if you buy a new motorhome, normally it'll have a standard battery, which is probably 100 or even 90 ampere hour AGM, which effectively, as it's an AGM battery, or it's a lead, well, maybe not a new one, you wouldn't get a lead acid battery, I don't think, any longer, but you only get effectively half the actual, so it says 90 amps, so effectively you get half of that, 45 amps, because that's the way the batteries work. Why don't they start giving decent packages such as 300, 400 ampere hours inside, which may be more to what you've actually likely to need? Now, that's a good question, but there's also a very good answer to that one. The commonest question I get on this site is, how much does it cost? And so if you're selling something based on cost, you're trying to keep if you're the seller, you want to keep the cost down as low as possible so that you can compete. And therefore, it stands to reason that manufacturers such as the mainline ones, the Hymer, the Trigano, the Thor Industries, Carthago, and everybody else, the reason they put in a cheap battery is for this reason. People are looking at the price. So that thing there is going to cost me 65,000 euros, and that one there is going to cost 70,000 euros. I think I'll take the 65,000 euros one. So are they going to put in 3,000 euros worth of batteries and to bring the cost closer to the other one? I don't think so. The thing is, with RVs in general, is that the question, how much does it cost, is not a very good question. And thank you. And the reason why it's not a good question, I mean, I know it's the most important thing for everybody, so, oh, I like that teapot, I could have one of them, how much does it cost? But the problem is what you actually get for it. Now, if you see the teapot in the shop, you know what it is made of, and it's quite clear. But with a motorhome, there's so many parts to it. It's very difficult to say. I mean, I like a flat. How much is it going to cost? A piece of property, well, it depends where it is and what it's actually doing. So there could be a difference of literally 100,000 times between a property in one place and a property in another. Well, motorhomes aren't quite that way, but the specification really is what you're actually getting, and it is the specification, particularly in luxury vehicles, where you can have a base price and the spec can go up by a factor of 3. So it might be a half a million euro vehicle, but by the time you've actually put all your spec on it, you might be paying 1.5 million or even more. So this is the question now. So come back to the electrical point: is when you buy most vehicles, they will have the base base electrical package with it, the cheapest battery package which is feasible. Maybe there won't be a lead acid battery, but there will be a AGM or something like that. Now these days what most people want to get is a LiFePO4 lithium ferrous phosphate battery, and these LiFePO4 things are really brilliant. It has changed my entire Vanlifing life. That's it. It made the world of difference to me. So I've got a 250 ampere hour battery, and effectively I'm off what's it called, off whatever it's called. I'm off. I've forgotten the word. Yeah, I'm going. This must be age. Anyway, I don't need electric hookup from end of March to the beginning of October, something along those lines. So it's that keeps me going. Now, thing is, I do have support packages in my on my vehicle, and so I do have the I've got from EcoFlow. I've got batteries. I've got two EcoFlow. I've got another portable battery unit here, so it's, I might have the computer on all day. And at the present, I have got I've not only have I got 380 watts on the roof of solar, I've also got a 160 watt flexible thing which is hanging outside now, and it's attached to the battery pack, the EcoFlow, which is being used to power my computer, and so the computer can stay on all day. Now if you're going through the base package in a vehicle with a 90 ampere hour battery, and you're running that through an inverter, the power, you will charge your computer maybe twice with it. I can't see it being charged any more than that. It's it depends what you're going to actually doing with your batteries. Now I've also got an electric fridge. Unfortunately, it's bust at the moment. It's given up the ghost. I don't know what it is. It's not the fuse. That was the first thing. That was the first thing I thought of to check. But it's there's something gone wrong with it. I think it's a connection. But anyway, it's going to have to go to the fridge doctor, the RV fridge doctor. But if you've got a fridge running, that would probably be the single largest draw on your power. In a case like mine, where I'm also working in fact, the electricity is actually going to be the greatest pull on it as well. So how much you need. Now, as far as I'm concerned, at the minimum, I think it's down for me, it's 250. But if you just intend to use your vehicle to go to campsites, then probably you're going to get away with a whatever comes as the base package in the vehicle. And one thing though I do want to suggest very strongly that you think about is something like this. It's all plugged in at the moment, so I'm going to unplug it and show you. It's a battery pack like this. There we go. Something like this. This is an EcoFlow, and you don't have to buy an EcoFlow. You could actually buy something else, but something like this is really, really good. As you can see, it's relatively light. Of course, I'm in a bit of a dodgy position at the moment, but this is currently sitting on my desk, and this is now my computer battery. I plug it into here, so that's the 12 volt, and if I want to charge mobiles up or something else, I've got a place to do it. If I wanted to plug it in, I can also plug it in using a normal plug. I'm using the 12 volt though at the moment. Next thing I want to suggest you get is something, hello Annie, is something like this. This goes into your computer. I have to do a separate thing, and so from this 12 volts to 18 and a half, 19, and that goes into your computer. So I think that is probably better than using the usual computer thing, where you plug your domestic thing into the inverter. So I think your battery will actually last longer using something like that. So if you're using computer a lot, you're working in the van, then something like this EcoFlow with a flexible that is really good. And also you can carry it with you and you can charge it up should it be necessary. The thing that you can charge that up just about anywhere. Bear in mind with your camper van, easy to charge it up anywhere anyway. For example, with this now, if I needed to charge it, okay, there's the sun, but let's supposing there was no sun, then I mean I could carry it around to a friend's place or something like that. Whereas I mightn't be able to get my motorhome up 3 flights of stairs in a block of flats. So there is all of these things to consider. So the question here, to come back, the original point was on the batteries. The reason the batteries are so low when you buy a van, that's because that is what the manufacturers are trying to compete on price. Nearly every manufacturer, when you buy a vehicle from you, will have the option of expanding. And not only that, they actually often say they've got there's a maximum expansion, but that's not the case. For example, here in this van I'm in right now, I'm going to expand it from the place the battery is at present, which admittedly I could it's in one of the compartments below it. I'm going to put it inside the van, and there's a room there to actually expand it much more should it be necessary. So that's how I'm going to be actually dealing with my current situation in my vehicle. Right, so anyway, so there's some of today. I'll read some of the comments. So Caravan says, love the reviews. I've had 19K's views on my YouTube of my old Cavalier, mostly from Germany. Is the brand still available out there? Marquis appears to have stopped in the UK. Yeah, there is a company called Cavalier. I've seen them, caravans, I think. I've never heard of any motorhomes, but I have actually seen them around. As they make caravans, I don't tend to take a great deal of notice of them. Now, I have done 1 or 2 caravan reviews, not even reviews, or tours, because they nearly all in all cases, nearly all cases, the companies belong to friends of mine, so I've done it for that reason. But Cavalier is definitely still on the go. Hello C, hello Axel and Annie and TC and Luke. Right, so what battery have I got? I've got 2 actually. Number 1 battery is a 250 ampere hour, which LifePo 4, they're lithium ferrous phosphate. I've got a second lithium ferrous phosphate. It's 100 one. I put the 100 one in, goes in winter, because it's got a self-heating unit. Now, one of the problems, in fact, all batteries don't like going below a certain degree, a certain temperature. That's why often you're in cold weather you can't get your car started or something like that. Now, with the lithium ferrous phosphate, it doesn't like to be charged below a certain temperature, and what that temperature is not, people don't seem to be too clear on, but certainly it doesn't like being charged below 0, and so therefore the second generation of lithium ferrous phosphate, they have this self-heating pack inside, so the battery itself will heat it up. It heats itself up when it drops below a certain temperature. Now, if, for example, your battery is connected to the solar and the sun miraculously comes out and then it starts charging, but the temperature is low, then that's bad news. Now, in many countries, if you go into Canada, Russia, or a place in the United States, even when you might have a lovely sunny day in winter, but it's dreadfully cold. I mean, one of the coldest temperatures I've ever been in my life, minus 37, was in Moscow, and it was a super clear, sunny day, and it was that temperature. So, but in that temperature, the van would have been charging had I been there in the van, which I wasn't. But if it had lithium ferrous phosphate, which hadn't been invented, well, sorry, it had been invented, it was invented about 1980 or something, but it wasn't around then for me. Then the battery wouldn't have liked it being so really this is really important with this battery. So if you've got an older, that's to say like 4 years older, I think the self-heating one came in around 2019 or something like that. If you got one before 2019, then you need to take it out in winter and replace it with another one. Another thing, incidentally, like you say, is about the electro block. Because when I moved into this van, and I said, electro block's not going to take it, and the person said, like, no, there'll be no problem. At all. No, I was thinking, I bet there will be. But there hasn't been. The electro block has been no problems whatsoever. Today on Facebook, I saw in one group somebody saying, no, the electro block won't take it. So somebody asked for this advice. Well, I can say this. In my case, there's been no problems with the electro, at least not so far. It hasn't been anyway. So, anyway. Right, which brand have I got? Yeah, the brand is Müller. I did a video of it actually of the the self-heating one, and I'll put a link. Well, I can't do it right now, but I'll put a link up to the brand I've actually got, and I'll put the battery up as well to actually show you. I've got the first battery was it was something at the time I was thinking of going into business actually with these things, so I got it built. The battery, this was about what, 2017, 2018, but and I mean I never did it, so I mean it was so it's an unbranded one, if you like. So lithium iron phosphate, yeah, you can see lithium iron phosphate or lithium ferrous phosphate, but you can call them LifePo 4 or something if you want. Yeah, there are lots of brands. I mean, difficult to choose. But the thing is this, I think you can, and look, you can get some of them which are really cheap. But I would suggest very strongly getting a branded thing, because if you get a branded one, then you're much likely to get better um, the BMS battery management system is going to be better, because your battery management system goes. I mean, with the cheaper ones, yeah, sure, you can get them for next to nothing. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but a decent unbranded battery will cost you 3 times more. Sorry, other way around. A decent branded battery for 3 times on one of the cheap ones. But the thing is, I think that the cheap one with a battery management system, I don't honestly think it's a good. I don't think it's a good idea. It's really important to have a battery management system which is going to work correctly and work with it. So that's how I see it. Anyway, I'm very much a believer of buying cheap things. Then it ends up being more expensive. Right, so Luke says in the ProMobil test, the brand CarBest came top. Look, there's two things. CarBest, first of all, is a relatively cheap brand. So if that is the case, then that is great. I worked in the publishing industry. It could be, I'm not suggesting this is the case, but it could be, hello, Guy. It could be due to the advertising policy, or who advertises and who doesn't. Look, this is a problem with any publishing business. If you have a magazine and if you do a test, let's say, and then you compare, for argument's sake, I don't know, shops, Tesco with Sainsbury's with Asda, and then Sainsbury's is your advertiser, the other two aren't. I mean, what are you gonna do when it comes to doing it? So I mean, to a certain extent, I can understand. I am not suggesting at all that this is ProMobil's policy. I'm not suggesting that. I've got no evidence for that whatsoever. Just put it this way, I would understand if they did that. And if I were working for argument's sake, for Liontron, for example, and I was advertising, then ProMobil said that CarBest has is the best and it's going to come top. Then I think I might pull my advertising from that magazine. That's the way I would do it. I hate to sound. I mean, I know this sounds very good, but I mean that's the way it is. The thing. This is one of the things which I feel when what I do now is that I am totally independent, and I get offers to do things with some kind of commission agreement, or what's it called, referral or whatever it is. I get at least one a day. And I just won't do it. And the reason I won't do it is because I want to maintain a sense of loyalty. I ran a publishing business. Of course, I wouldn't have done this myself, but I can absolutely understand why in the advertising business somebody would do something like that. Sorry, I've gone into that in some detail, but I mightn't have. I think I've made my point anyway. Good. Anyway, so thanks for coming by, Guy. That was the answer to that question. I think I'll do a separate video because I can't really do it now because first of all it's raining and there's a huge puddle outside my front here. And it's dark. More to the point. But I'm going to show you how I have set up my flexible solar whilst wild camping. I have to do a separate video on wild camping. What is wild camping? What you can do when you're wild camping, what you can't do. But anyway, so for the moment, thanks very much everybody for being here, and it's been nice having you. And all the best from me in Poland, and bye for now. Thank you. Bye.